It's annoying when filthy and stinky folks gather in the park.
It affects the reputation of the town. Homeless people should leave right now.
The shouts of a man and a woman echoed, making me and my fellow homeless friends rush over. The man then kicked at Smith, exclaiming, "Scum of the society," causing the free lunch we had received to spill all over the ground. "How could you do that? Stop it." I stood in front of Smith, staring intently. Others around quickly picked up the scattered food and cleaned it up. We hold these food drives here with permission from the local authorities. We plan a schedule and make sure that we take our trash with us so that it will not bother any locals. You have no right to complain. The man spat on the ground.
The very existence of these people is bothersome. Eating for free without working and just setting up beds wherever they please.
I clenched my fist tightly. Without understanding anything about these people, you never know when you might lose your job, your home, your hope, and end up homeless. While lost in thought, the woman who had been hurling insults with the man stared at me in surprise.
Wait, John.
At her words, I finally looked at her properly, and I was taken aback. Catherine. It was my ex-girlfriend. I was what you'd call a high achiever. I went to prestigious schools, graduated from a top university, and landed a job at a listed apparel company. As I built my career, I felt the urge to challenge myself, so I started my own business. I launched an online apparel store, quickly growing my annual sales to $10 million. I was over the moon. That's when I met Catherine. We met at a party where CEOs and investors gathered. Enchanted by the beautiful and stylish Catherine, I, who had always been more into studies than dating, quickly fell for her. Looking back now, I realize Catherine was after my money, but back then, I was completely blinded by love. I spoiled her with meals at fancy restaurants and bought her luxury brand goods. Her happiness made me feel good. I decided to expand my business more for Catherine's sake. Around that time, a famous designer from the company I used to work had approached me about starting our own brand. I jumped on board and ordered the batch he suggested. I not only sold online but also opened stores in prime location in 3 major cities. But the clothes didn't sell. I ended up with a lot of unsold stock. Trying to sell like the big brands was a mistake. With huge debts, my company went bankrupt. All the stores closed. Catherine dumped me soon after.
You know him?
The man asked Catherine. Her face twisted in disgust as she looked at me with contempt.
An ex-boyfriend. He used to be well off, buying me expensive bags, jewelry, and taking me to fancy dinners. But then his company went bankrupt, and he was in debt. Of course, I dumped him as soon as I found out. It was a right decision.
Hearing this, the man smirked, saying, "For real," with a nasty grin.
I was wondering what happened to you after the company went bankrupt. But you really hit rock bottom, didn't you?
Catherine said, and the man burst into exaggerated laughter. They don't stop getting on my nerves. Catherine began to boast with a smug look on her face.
Getting a meal at a soup kitchen. What a pathetic life. My husband earns $100,000 a year. Of course, I'm a full-time housewife. I occasionally have lunch at fancy restaurants with my friends and travel abroad during my husband's vacation.
A man snorted dismissively.
You, a bottom-feeding homeless, could never protect Catherine. Just eat your crummy food and envy us, the elite.
I let out a long, deep sigh. I'm disgusted with myself. Hearing this, Catherine and the man burst into laughter. Knowing nothing about business, getting all excited over a little profit, and only thinking about taking money, I was deceived by such a pathetic woman. Catherine exclaimed with a shrill, "What did you say?"
Shut up, you loser who can't even earn $100,000 a year.
The man glared menacingly. Suddenly, the homeless who had been watching the scene erupted in laughter.
What's so funny?
Feeling mocked, Catherine got angry. A man named Aaron, who was with me, stepped forward.
She's way off the mark.
Then, Smith added,
John earns $13 million a year.
Hearing this, Catherine's eyes widened.
Wait, you're not talking about revenue but a salary of $14 million. That's a lie, right?
The man also looked shocked.
That's gotta be a lie. You're just trying to get back at us for making fun of you, but we're not buying it.
I calmly replied, "It's not a lie. I once went bankrupt and was buried in debt, even becoming homeless. But now, I'm running a company again. I had lost a lot due to the bankruptcy and heavy debt. Not just my company and money. The designers who were going to launch our brand left me, and all the employees quit. Even CEOs and investors I had ties with distanced themselves from me. My own family cut ties, not wanting to be burdened. My girlfriend Catherine, whom I believed loved me, said, 'They say when the money's gone, the love's gone. You're worthless without money,' and brutally dumped me, making me lose trust in humanity. I sold off the company's building, stocks, my luxury condo, car, and all high-end brand items to repay the debt. All I had left was a little change. With nowhere to go, I sat on a park bench near where my company used to be and drank. It was winter. As it got darker, it became colder, and snow began to fall. I wouldn't mind dying here now. It doesn't matter even if anything happens to someone like me. Feeling this way, a hand suddenly pulled me up.
If you stay here, you'll freeze to death.
A scruffy bearded homeless man stood before me. That was Aaron. When I told him I had no home to return to, Aaron took me to his makeshift shelter made of blue tarps.
Just for tonight.
He handed me a sleeping bag. Despite his gruff demeanor, I felt warmth, and tears welled up. That's when my life as a homeless began. Introduced by Aaron, I met other homeless people and learned about their territories, ensuring I stayed in places where I wouldn't cause it trouble. Without a cell phone, information was shared through word of mouth. I'd go to places that has soup kitchens to get my meal for the day. I was taught where to sell collected cardboard and recyclables. Being young and strong, I began doing daily wage labor and earned more cash than others. With that money, I'd buy extra bread and meals to share with everyone. When I thought I had nothing left, I found joy in doing something for others. One day, Aaron said to me,
"John, quit being homeless."
I was taken aback by his sudden words, but Aaron continued,
"Your eyes still shine. Being homeless is for those like me who see no hope in the future. You haven't given up on life yet. Get out of this lifestyle."
When I first became homeless, I was in despair, thinking that as long as I lived through the day, that was good enough. But gradually, I felt a growing belief that I could still do something, that I could still make a difference in the future. I quickly sought help from a self-reliance support center. I got a place in a public housing unit, securing an address. After that, I found a job. It's a factory line worker position, but it's a big step. Working tirelessly, holding multiple jobs, and saving up, I started a business again. Just like last time, it's in apparel, but this time it's only online sales. For teens, 20s, 30s, I set up separate sites for each age group, researching and stocking the clothes and accessories they want the most and selling them. The big difference from before is that I now limit the quantities. This way, I don't end up with huge stockpiles and I can restock popular items. Sales steadily increased, and with it, my income. But I didn't want to live a lavish lifestyle like before. I kept my distance from those who were after my money or status. Being homeless, you sometimes get looked down upon or get insulted. But on the other hand, there are people who give me food or speak kind words to me. Interacting with such people, I somehow got a sense of what intentions they had in approaching me. That's why I vowed to cherish those who were kind to me when I was down. Never forget the kindness I received. And so, I provide food every week at this place. Today too, After distributing food to everyone, I was chatting and eating with my homeless friends, including Aaron. This is the apparel sales site I run. When I showed the site on my smartphone, Catherine was surprised.
Oh, I know this. They post trendy clothes quickly and at affordable prices, and you can return or exchange for free.
The man turned pale and muttered.
Wait, so the $13 million annual income is real?
Catherine's attitude changed instantly.
Come on, lend me some money out of the kindness from when we dated. Lucas recently said I spend too much and doesn't give me money.
She flirted with me, trying to get close, and I felt a chill.
She was just bragging about her husband's annual income of $100,000. But when she found out about John's $13 million annual income, her attitude changed completely.
Women are scary, aren't they?
The homeless around laughed, and Catherine's face turned bright red.
Fine. My husband will earn so much that you guys can't laugh at him.
Catherine, embarrassed, quickly left with her husband. Later, I married Emily, who had been supporting me as a clerk since I started the company. Emily, being in charge of accounting, is strict with household finances and hates wasteful spending. At her suggestion, we now collect unused clothes during our weekly food distribution and distribute them to the homeless and low-income families. In my apparel business, I was troubled by the large amount of clothes thrown away due to fashion trends and was considering how to make effective use of them. A few years later, I was at the soup kitchen, providing food with Emily and our 2-year-old son, Oliver. Everyone here feels like family to me, and it's reassuring to see them well every week. But Aaron was not here. He passed away last year, watched over by me, Emily, and our homeless friends. Since Aaron had no relatives, I took care of his remains and held a funeral.
Ida.
At my clumsy son's words, everyone's faces lit up with smiles. Then, my eyes darted to the back of the line, and I was taken aback. It was because Catherine and her husband were standing there. I wasn't the only one who noticed.
Hey there, weren't you the one mocking the homeless for eating free food without working?
You said those dirty, stinky folks should get lost, didn't you?
As the heckling continued, Catherine and her husband looked down, visibly shaken. When it was their turn, I greeted them with a smile and offered them food.